Hey all, welcome back. In the first three clips, I explained about the 6x6, how it transforms into a 3x3, the terminologies that I'll be using, why odd versus even squares are different, all those things. For those who have not looked through those clips, I suggest that you please look through those clips. And for those who are not subscribed, please subscribe so that you can get up to date information on what I'm uploading. Okay, enough of marketing. Now I'll go on for the sorry. I'll go into the actual solution. So here you're going to talk. I'm going to talk about solving the centers first. And what we need to do is we need to start building the center of the center, which is the first four pieces. Which is in what I said, it will be like 6, 7, and then 10, 11. 6, 7, 10, 11. Forming it is the first step. So if you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 6 and 7 and 10 and 11. These are the four that forms the core of the center. This is going to be a center and this is the center of the center. So first let's build this. So the others will become the edges for the center and then we can build it. So once you are done with this entire thing will become the center and then we can move on to the next center. Okay, so that way it will be easy for us to solve the edges later. Okay, so start with this. There are two center of the centers, which is like 10 and 11 are the centers now we have where it is yellow. We have to fix the 6 and 7. So where are the 6 and 7? Let's look at it. So here, so you see the 6 is here. So as always, I'll keep the place where my terminologies I used to say this as buffer position. The buffer is a place where it has to go, and pivot is the place from where it is pivoted, it is propelled. So here is the place where this piece has to come from here into this place, one of these places, right? So this is my pivot and this is my buffer, and my buffer has to be a unsolved one. You already have two of the yellows, but this is now red. If this becomes yellow, you will add it to the 3. When this becomes yellow, you'll add all the 4 and your core center is done, right? So for this to become solved, you need to have this pivot moved into this buffer, which is the 6 on the top to 6 on the facing cube, facing side. How do we do that? As I said before, if you have a pivot, the pivot should always be on the 6th position. Bring it to the 6th position or to the 10. It should be either in 6 or 10. I'll explain you when it becomes 10 later. Now it is like there are 2. When the third is there, it will become 6. Bring it to the 6 and you have to move this here for you to get this rotated out here. So what you do is you take this is your 1, 2, 3, third layer. Bring the pivot from the 6 of the top to the 6 of the front side by moving the third layer down, which is your L. Okay, in terminology, if we say that this is again an 3L instead of 1L, 2L, 3L. So this is the 3L, right? Now you have actually moved this here, but the one that you had two pieces, they had gone down. So what you do is you move it to the right with an F. So you have now secured this safe here and you move it back with a L prime, 3L prime. What happened is you had this pivot here on the top. From here you moved it down, which means you pushed this down to the bottom, and this you moved from here this position to 6 to you had it from, sorry, what did I say, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6 to 7. You moved it to 7. Okay, 6, 7, 10, 11, right? So 6 is where you want to move it, and once you are in 6, either you should move it to 7 or you can move it to 11. I'll come to that later, but right now it is like you have 6 moved to the 7 and you brought this back with a L prime, third layer, L3, right? 3L. So now you got 3 of them. Now you have to scout for only one more. So let's look at the one, which is actually here. So if you see this, you are facing yellow and the actual yellow center is here, which is like 2 layers. This is in the back. As I always advise, you have to bring the pivot to the top and the facing position as a buffer. So since your pivot, you need to move this up. You use the same principle as move this up, rotate it, move it back. So that way you don't disturb. So you take the layer 4, only the fourth layer on the top, to the top, and then move it away from the fourth layer, move it to the third layer, and then bring the fourth layer back. So that way you have brought this piece from here to here, right, on the top, correct, from here to here. Now that you have got it closer and it is in the pivot, it is actually in the pivot place, but it is not in the pivot position. As I always suggest, you bring this to the sixth layer, sixth position. On the top, it should be in the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Bring it to the sixth position. You got it. Now here, sixth is unsolved. This is the position where you want to bring. But you cannot move it now, because if you move it here, you will distort this. So what you need to do is, you need to bring the 11th piece, which is like, let's assume that this is like a triangle position, 1, 2, 3. You move this in such a way that the sixth position is accompanied by 7 and 10. The 11 should be unsolved. I hope you are following me. The pivot should be in 6 and your 11 should be unsolved. It should be diagonally opposite. Only then you can solve this. So what you need to do is, you need to move this like this. So your 11 is unsolved, whereas your pivot is in 6. The reason why we do this is, we move this to the 6 and then push it to the 11, and then we bring it back. So that way you will not distort the 6 or a 10. The 7 is where you are actually going to, you'll rotate this 7 to 11, and then you will have the 6 and 10 secure. You will see why. So as a rule of thumb, when you want to solve the core centers, when your pivot is in 6, you need to bring the unsolved as 11. The 6 should be filled, 7 should be filled, and 10 should be the same color, the yellow color. The 11 should be the unsolved one where you want to solve it. Okay. So now you do the same thing. You do the 3 layer L and then move it down. Now you see this, when you do an F, you are actually moving the, if you see this, 6 is where you brought it. Now you are moving this down. So this 7 becomes 11 and 6 becomes 7, and these two are unsolved. Now you move an L prime, 3L prime. So now you got the center. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you have solved the 6, 7, 10 and 11. Now this core yellow is solved. But don't go to any white or anything now till you solve this entire edge. The reason why I'm saying this is, that is also another way of doing it. You can do this yellow, yellow, yellow. Then you go to the white, 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 white. Then you go to the orange. All those things we can do. But what happens is, when you go into the edges, these gets distorted, and at that time it will be tough for you to solve it, because it will scramble more than one side. So my recommendation is, move on to the next step to solve the center, which is actually edges within the center. Okay, I'll explain it since it's already 8 minutes. I want you to be taking your time to digest this and then go to the next clip. So I'm going to take a break and come back. Thank you.